Today, I'm going to share with you my 5 favorite plank progressions to help take your core training to the next level. The basic plank is a fantastic exercise, but it gets very easy very quickly and very boring very quickly. So in order to help you develop that bulletproof core to keep you out of that annoying, nagging low back pain, I'm going to show you 5 ways to advance the basic plank and make it much more efficient, much more effective, and much more fun. And I've saved my favorite plank variation of all time for number 5, so make sure you watch this video all the way to the end. All right, let's do this. Plank progression number 1, I call these walk out toe taps. I love this one. Actually, I love all of these, but we're gonna get set up in a basic plank first. So think elbows under the shoulders. You should be looking right over your fists. So one of the biggest mistakes I see with a basic plank is this thing. Again, you should be looking right over your fists, not way beyond them. Core is tight like you're ready for a punch in the stomach. Squeeze the glutes. And then from there, we're gonna do 2 things to make this much more difficult. We're gonna extend the lever arm by walking back a little bit. So when we get into this position, you have to really fight 2 things from happening. So hips are gonna wanna sack. We need to keep these up. Back's gonna wanna arch. We need to keep that from happening. From there, we're gonna also add in a little bit of movement. Right, so a little toe tap to the side, little toe tap to the side. Don't go super fast. Take a little time on that, and then walk it back in. Re-engage if we've lost some of that tightness. Walk it back out. Take a little time on that toe tap. Walk it back in, and that will definitely take your basic plank to the next level. I was feeling that pretty good in just that 30, 45 seconds right there. So I do that for 10 or 12 reps, 45 to 60 seconds, 3 to 4 sets, and boom, you're good to go. All right, next up, grab your stability ball.
Plank progression number 2, good old stability ball. So here is just, I'll say basic stability ball plank, but even the basic stability ball plank is an advanced version of the basic plank because anytime we add in this unstable surface, the difficulty level goes up like tenfold here. So a couple tips for your setup here. So to start, have a little distance between your feet. You can narrow it as you get better with this. So I think basic support is going to make a big difference. The wider we go, it's going to be easier. The narrower we go, it's going to be harder. I like to start roughly in between and then make sure your hips aren't way down here. We're gonna be up like so, abs tight, glutes tight, and just hanging on. Again, that version might be enough to take your core training up a notch from being big, from doing the basic forearm plank on the floor. Hold for anywhere, it's gonna be a wide range, but you could literally go like 30 to 90 seconds on that. If you're just starting with this, see if you can get 30 seconds, build up to 60, build up to 90, and we're pretty good. To advance that a little bit further, we're gonna add some movement in on an unstable surface here. So 3 things I do with this. So nail the setup. We can add in a little side to side. We can add in a little back and forth. And we can add in some slow, notice that word, slow circles. So I do not need to see you whipping around like this. Take your time on the movements and be aware of what we're trying to accomplish, which is keeping that core engaged, resisting that big arch in the back. If you start whipping all over the place, you're gonna lose that tightness and you're gonna defeat the whole purpose of the exercise. So slow it down, focus on what we're supposed to be focused on, and you're gonna be good. Again, work up 60, 90 seconds on that, 3 to 4 sets, and you're gonna be good. All right, next up, another body weight variation.
Plank progression number 3 is a 2-point plank. So another way to progress the basic plank is to take an arm away or take a leg away. With this one, we're gonna take both away. So we're gonna take an opposite arm and a leg away. So as always, I know you're gonna get annoyed of hearing this, but I'm never not gonna coach this. Basic plank setup, core is tight, ready for that punch in the stomach, glutes are tight. And then from here, we're gonna go opposite arm and leg, just a little bit off the ground. So I don't need to be way up here. Hang on, and then I'm gonna have you do this for 10 seconds, where you're gonna feel this quad come into play. You're gonna wanna rotate, back's gonna wanna arch, resist it, and then switch it over and go 10 seconds from there, or a rough 10-second hold. So I like doing that, and in that 45, 60, 70-second range. Again, you don't have to, the count doesn't have to be perfect, but I do like going back and forth. You could do like 30 seconds on one 2-point, 30 seconds on the other. That would be completely fine, or just do 10-second holds going back and forth. At 60, 75, up into that 90-second range. And just doing that little arm and leg takeaway, much more effective and much more difficult and much more fun. All right, next up, you need a dumbbell and a slider. This is an interesting one. All right, let's do it. Plank progression number 4, high-low plank pull-through. So I'm going to show you what this looks like without this slider, because not everybody has one of these, but if you do, I'm going to show you how to use this to make this much more effective and make sure you are doing this correctly. So I'll get that out of the way for now. Dumbbell starts off the side, and we're going to start in tall plank position or push-up position, like so. Little distance between the feet, and then from here, we're going to come down to the forearms. So we're coming all the way down. Common mistakes here, leaving your butt behind. I don't want that. Bring it all the way down. Don't let them sag here. Just get into that nice basic plank position. From there, we're going to come back up, and then we're going to drag the dumbbell through. Then we're going to go down, right? We're going to pause for a second. We're going to come back up, and we're going to drag the dumbbell through. So if you have this slider, you're going to be able to basically cue yourself and make sure you're doing this. So that doesn't look like it's anything crazy. But the reason a lot of people don't think this is too hard is because they're doing this thing, rocking all over the place, going super fast. So just with any other plank variation that has movement, we want to slow it down. So we're going to take this slider, and when we get started, we're going to put it on our back, like so. So then we're going to go nice and slow. We're going to come down. We're going to come back up, and we're going to drag it through. So if I were to go all over the place like that, it's going to come off to the side. If I'm leaving my butt up, it's going to slide towards my head. If my hips are dropping too low, it's going to slide off that way. So it's basically you having a coach with you, making sure you're doing this correctly, but just using a simple slider there. That works really, really well. Same deal. I like that 10 to 12, 15 reps, or you can do it in that I'll give 45 to 90 second range. But give that a shot. I think you'll like that. Just really slow it down. All right, next up, you need both sliders, and I'm going to show you my favorite, not only plank exercise, but possibly my favorite ab exercise of all time. So get your sliders ready. Let's get into this. Plank progression number 5, we are going to go slider, pikes, or pike ups. That'll be one of my top 3 ab core exercises of all time. So sliders are going to go on the feet, and we are going to be in push-up position to get this started. So same thing as all the other setups, core's tight, glutes are tight, and then from there, it's a little funky cue, but you're going to pretend that somebody has a string on your back and they're just pulling you straight up to the ceiling as you go. Can you guess what I'm going to say? Yes, as you go nice and slow. 2 seconds up. 1001, 1002, control down. 1001, 1002, boom. Hang out in this plank position for a second, and then bring it back up and control it back down. So that, when you use that tempo, you really focus on basically getting a crunch at the top, which I love, and then you come back down and you focus on hanging out in that plank position for a second, which I love. We check a lot of really functional boxes with this exercise here, but it's not super tough if you do this thing, right? You just look funky, right? And it's just, you just don't feel it as well. So last time I'll say it, slow it down. Do 2 seconds on the way up, 2 seconds on the way down. Squeeze the glutes in the bottom, keep that core tight, and you're gonna absolutely love that exercise. It's gonna light your core up big time. So do that in that 10 to 15 rep range, or again, 45 to 75, maybe up into 90 seconds. Again, one of my all-time favorites. And there are your 5 plank progressions to help take your core training to the next level. If you would like to see my favorite crunch variation of all time and fix some very important common mistakes with this exercise, check out my video on the reverse crunch right here. Again, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.